that's kind of, I mean, that's one way to look at it. I mean, something like the Shroud, if anything's real, something like that is going to be the one that's
probably real.
Of the tests that have been done on it, as far as they can figure out that they don't know how somebody at the time first started circulating would have faced something like that. So yeah, I don't know.
I've been watching all these. I went down this rabbit hole of watching like World War II, like the Third Reich, like, and then it went into like all the relics that they were after. Like the Spear of Destiny or whatever, the one that supposedly pierced the side of Christ.
Wasn't that the Holy Grail too? Wasn't that what it was like to catch the blood of Jesus? Wasn't that what it was or something?
Yeah, or it was wasn't the Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail was supposedly the actual cup.
The cup that he drank.
The cup that he did the Last Supper out of. Right. Yeah. And then there was something.
Which, I mean, it's kind of that whole idea of it being the cup is like this huge misunderstanding of like it's not the cup that makes any difference.
Right. Exactly.
But that is, I mean, what that legend, I guess, is,
right. But I think people
that would be, if that were something that could be proven that was somebody actually had the actual, I mean, that would be considered,
a holy relic, of course, like an historic relic. Yeah.
Same as if you had an actual piece of the original cross, which at this point,
how does that even exist? Whatever.
I mean, I know that there are pieces that people venerate as supposedly being actual pieces of it.
Right.
It's like it's also been said, throughout history that enough pieces of the cross existed to rebuild the ark.
That's a real loaves and fishes moment.
Oh, we're live, by the way, guys.
Oh, we're live?
Oh,
cool.
heads up.
No, I honestly, I've been going down that rabbit hole. Like, it started with like legitimate like World War II history, and then like the Third Reich's like obsession with like holy relics, and they think that those things like gain you some sort of power or whatever.
Which is what Raiders of the Lost Ark is. I mean,
it's like a real Indiana Jones thing.
Based off of like historical. The Nazis were really into all sorts of that kind of stuff.
I think it was. I've been watching enough of this. I think I actually remember the name. It was the Anumania or something like that. It was a order, like a group of Nazis, but it was really comprised of like scientists that they'd basically like brought into like this one guy. I can't remember his name, but he was like one of the foremost experts on like German like ancestry, and like they tried to use him to like say that they tried to like connect like the German race to like Jesus, that Jesus wasn't really Jewish, he was like
he was German.
He was something else, like
some ancient Germanic Norse.
Yeah, exactly. And they tried to like they inscripted basically all these like legitimate scientists and legitimate historians and archaeologists and stuff to try to make this like basically create their own like religion based where the German was the superior race or whatever. Right. That's crazy. All that stuff is so wild. In other note, like we were talking about earlier, Petey Pablo's song "Raise Up" is supposedly in the running to be North Carolina's official song, and I wonder your thoughts about it. No gray hair, Josh back there.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm still doing production stuff over here, getting the stream set up.
Okay.
Let me switch places with Noah, move this camera, and then I will answer that question.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, so supposedly Petey Pablo's song.
So we're going from the old North State to North Carolina. Raise up.
I think it should be. This is what I think it should be. James Taylor. I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
Okay, I can go with that. I know. Well, I have one to bring to the table on that. Okay. All right.
Their families were Border County.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they're like legitimate North Carolinians.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the one that
Next to their granddad, I guess.
Really? Yeah.
His and Livingston's.
Yeah.
Well, the one that I would throw in there would be Old Crow Medicine Show Wagon Wheel.
Sure.
Because, I mean, it talks about Raleigh, the Cumberland Gap,
Right.
So.
Alrighty. Put the camera on me, Noah. Let me see what it looks like because I can't see on my end. Are we good?
are paler than a piece of paper.
What?
You're a real German now, Josh.
Yep. You are shining bright, Josh.
All right.
Gives those bright blue eyes, too.
Gleaming?
You come look at it.
I can't.
He can't look at himself. No.
Hold on, I'll look.
He's hairspray.
Take your eyes out and bring them over here, Josh.
He's only minorly blown out. It's good. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good, Josh.
I mean, I can.
Noah's been trying to be very careful about the exposure. And
He
stuff
has.
since he's
He
been
really
shooting
has.
stuff.
Look at
That's
Noah
good.
learning stuff.
Yeah.
Noah, I have to commend you on your video from the other night. It was very good.
I tried, man.
How's that? Is that
did
better?
A great job.
Yeah.
Is that better?
It's better.
Okay. All righty. Yes, he did a great job. He did a very good job, and the exposure was perfect. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to a live cast, a live
Yes.
Hollercast.
We just went right for it.
Yeah, we just went for it. No, we wanted to just kind of test the internet down here and see how it does on a live stream. So I think it's going to do pretty good.
I think it's going to go a lot better than what we did on the last live stream, which
I
was on a
think
Starlink.
so too. Oh, I can look. I can watch myself on YouTube here and see what it looks like.
myself on TV.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah. Let me set that up. Okay.
So you had strong thoughts on Petey Pablo's "Raise Up" being North Carolina's official song. Do tell.
I'm not blown out. I just look a little bit. Strong thoughts? Nah, not strong thoughts. I don't. It doesn't surprise me, honestly. It doesn't shock me.
Okay.
It
So
doesn't.
why? What would be your vote for the North Carolina's official song?
Yellow Submarine?
Why yellow?
No bearing on us whatsoever.
Well,
the
neither
Beatles
does
were
Pete
actually
Pablo,
from-
so it's like...
The Beatles were actually from Wilmington, North Carolina. You know? Not from
really?
England. You know, that's in Josh's mind right now.
The Tavern Club was down there on the coast.
Yeah, exactly. I legitimately do think James Taylor's gone to Carolina. My mind needs to be.
And I will totally agree with you on that. But from a personal, I abhor James Taylor.
I'm
you
not a
know,
huge fan of
yeah.
James Taylor.
But I
It's
get
just
what
not
you're
my
saying.
kind of thing.
Right, it's
but
not mine either. But I do agree about that song, though. You know, that would be a good pick.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know. James,
What about you, JB?
I don't know. Why are we changing it?
Just to be different, because we like to change shit nowadays.
Because we're modernized.
What was the song before? Okay, now
The
full
Old North
disclosure, I have not followed this. I didn't know that, so
That's
I
a good
didn't have
question.
any strong opinions about it. I was just like, you know,
I'm right, what do I
I was
know?
going to make something up, but I wasn't witty or quick enough to do so. You know,
Let's see if we actually have a state
I'm completely
song, 'cause I don't know
agnostic
either.
to this
It's
whole
the Old
state
North
song
State.
situation.
The Old North State.
The old Norris State.
North.
Norse.
Oh, I was like,
We were run by
dun, dun.
Vikings.
the old
Now we're
Norris
going back to the.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, the Old North State.
It was actually originally done by Amon Amarth, Josh.
Okay, cool.
Written by William Gaston in 1835. So we're talking an
Interesting.
old song.
Yeah, very much.
Old,
so.
old song.
But we are
Switch
an
places
old
when we know.
state.
We are the Old North State,
Yes.
some would say.
That I can contribute from
What's going on now?
The LUT on my camera is being really weird. I have some settings that I need to change.
Well, we're a work in progress here.
We
We're
really
working-
are. We
Jamie,
really are.
thank you for joining us.
Yes, it is awesome to be back on
We-
Hollercast.
Yes, thank God. So, me and Josh Brown and Laura won the belt back tonight.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
My bi-weekly, the first and third Friday of every month, music trivia night at 670 on Oak /City Drive-In. And if you are the winner from that week, you now get the WWE Championship belt to be the reigning music trivia champion. And Chase and Laura and JB over here, they won the belt from Team Tim Collis, who was our last winner. So
Look, Tim's
Now, correct me. Tim and his team, they were actually the inaugural.
yes, that would be correct. Yep.
Yeah. On the week that we weren't there.
Yeah. Ooh. Yes, but that is true.
shots
Yes.
fired.
Yes.
Shots across the bow.
It is
St.
getting
Collis.
dirty out there. But we have some good competition. We had 7 teams playing tonight.
That was good, man.
So I'm really happy with the way that it's going, that it's blowing up. And like I say, every time whenever I host it, I just want people to have fun, and that's what makes me love it even more.
That's it. And we always do have fun.
Yeah,
We
awesome.
Always have fun.
Awesome.
It's so cool. So we went down to Nebo. I told you about this.
Yep.
So Jamie here there's a reason he runs the music trivia. It's because he is the music trivia champion supreme.
Thank you.
So we decided we're going to go down to the place where you guys used to play.
Micah Town Brewing.
Yeah, so me and Laura went down there with Jamie and Sarah, and we walk in and I hear, "Fuck!" Oh man, it's like a collective, like, oh, he's here.
It's been a while. People still recognize you.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
right.
It probably
Yeah.
been about a year since I had been down there and played. I was a 9-time reigning champion down there. So I started my own music trivia and kind of gave it a break down there. But I said I want to go back. I got that itch because I get to host, but I never get to play.
There you go.
So and then Chase can finish the story
Oh,
about
we,
our dominating.
We dominated. Like, it was a decisive win by at least, what was like 12 points or something?
It's 12 or 15. Yeah.
12 or 15 points.
Which
It was a
actually,
decisive victory, in which I had very little.
if we would have
Anybody but
got
Jamie really had very little to do with it.
if we would have gotten the year right on the bonus song, I believe we would have had a perfect score.
I think we did.
Noah, pay attention.
I am.
Pay attention, Noah. What are you doing?
I've been drinking.
Come on, Noah. You said early college graduate education.
Yeah,
See, I can
exactly.
speak it.
I'm literally pressing the button. You see me do it.
Oh, so here's a subject we can talk about.
Okay.
Mainland Community College is getting a new president.
Yes. Yes. It is.
I hear
okay,
such things.
so I have to ask.
Okay.
So what happened? So
Dr.
Boyd just stepped
is
aside?
retiring.
Just
He is retiring.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
He is going to go live out his happy days in South Carolina.
Okay.
Yes, he said that it was time for him to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
So-
Well, Dr. Boyd's done a lot. We had him on
Yes.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Boyd's a great guy. He's done a ton for the community. So what's the scuttlebutt, man?
Well, we have 3 candidates right now. All
Okay.
3 of them are from right around Hickory. So one of them has associations with Catawba Valley Community College, and the other 2 are with K-12 down in Hickory. So they've been like superintendents, principals, stuff like that. So the 3 candidates, they met with the Board of Trustees, and we had a forum with all of the faculty and staff this week. And the Board of Trustees for Mainland Community College, they come to a decision today at like 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or something, and we will know who the new president is on May the 16th. Ooh. So
Nice.
Coming up soon.
yeah,
Yeah.
Intrigue.
So I'm excited. I got to meet one of the candidates very well because I got to take him on a tour of the Avery, Yancey, and Earth to Sky Park. So I was with them
Nice.
for about half a day, and it was one of the ladies.
So just
the
to be
lady-
clear, Yancey County hasn't seceded from Mainland yet, huh?
they not yet. No.
Okay, they've seceded from the library.
Right.
They've seceded from the fucking library, but they
That's
haven't seceded from
hilarious.
the
Yeah,
college.
no. They are
Okay.
still a strong. Now I'm gonna get in trouble, but Yancey. No, it's fine. Yancey is very strong supporters of Mainland Community College. There's another county, and it's not Avery that is not as strong supporters. So,
Okay, well,
but
shots fired.
yeah, that's right. Boom. But anywho, the candidate that I was with, she is Dr. Ross was her name, but she is awesome. She had great ideas. She wanted to get more familiar with the student side. The one that was interviewed Wednesday, he was more of a financial business oriented side, which would be very helpful for auditing purposes and balancing budgets and stuff. So, and the third one I didn't get to meet because I had to run around and do a couple of things. But all 3 of them have their own little niches that I think will be great for Mainland. But all 3 of them were excited with everything that was going on with Mainland, like the Earth to Sky Park, the new YMCA being built, the hotel, all the stuff that we've dabbled in.
It's a very weird thing that's happened with Mainland. And I know that there are people in the community that aren't necessarily a huge fan. and I can see their point of view in some
Right.
ways. I can see their point of view, but Malin has kind of become like an economic driver here, which is very weird for like a community college. Well, maybe depending on how you look at it, like
It might not be, depending on if you look at what that's giving back to the community as far as education.
right. And I
right,
think
yes.
that needs to be the number one. And that the criticisms that I have heard are along those lines that like, yes, we're okay if you like do some of these economic drivers, but the focus needs to be on the education.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Right. And I
Yes.
think they do a great job. Like
Yeah.
we all have had kids, and you, I've learned today, are going to have two that are
Yes,
going to go
yes.
to the
Congrats to the
Malin
kids.
Early Community College. I think that is a phenomenal program
Yeah.
that I
Yes.
love. I've heard some things that maybe the education part of it has kind of waned a little bit, and that there was some questions there. I don't know if those are true.
At Malin or
just
the
what I've
early
heard.
college or
That just Malin in general.
Malin in general?
But I mean, look at what all they're doing for the community, and you know, I know people had some issues with what's going on down here at where the Y is and what was given or whatever. I personally, I can see where they're coming from. Why are we like funding this sort of thing? Why is a community college driving? Well, I can tell you right now, in the free market space of just like, you know, entrepreneurs, there's nobody is going to be able to run a hotel. Trust me.
Right.
My parents
Yeah.
did it, and it was hard when they did it. It's going to be even harder now. And I think some sort of partnership like that is good down there for something like a hotel, which we desperately need here. Because really, if it wasn't for that hotel, really, what else do you have? Airbnbs, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Well, and here's the thing. So what if the college makes money?
Right.
And see, that's where we are the Malin Enterprise Corporation, where we at the college are a nonprofit organization. This is where the profit comes in, is this separate entity that we have with the Enterprise Corporation. To see, they're the ones who run the hotel, which actually Avery County YMCA is the one who's footing a lot of the bill for the YMCA that's coming to Spruce Pine. We've just given them the opportunity to be there.
Yeah, it's not just all mailing money that's doing that,
Right.
for sure. I mean, they have a partner in that kind of stuff. But I think in a community like ours where things, you have to think outside of the box a little bit, and I'm not opposed to that.
Right.
I'm really not opposed to that at all.
Yeah. No.
Just
I'm
my two
not
cents. And I say that as the child of two people who ran a hotel here, and I know I in general have a pretty good idea of what it takes. You have to have corporate business. You have to have,
Yeah.
you know, it's not just tourism. Tourism's going to be your,
But you have to have tourism
You
too.
have to have
that
tourism,
is a part
too.
of it.
Yeah.
but
Tourism
tourism,
is so seasonal.
it's seasonal, exactly.
Especially someplace like here where we have actual winters, which,
Right.
depending on if you're close enough to a ski place, may or may not be a good season.
That's
well,
true.
Yes.
And now it's destroyed.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more corporate and relief, honestly, now that
Yeah,
that
I mean, really,
populates the
that's, I
hotel.
would say that probably 90% of the business from Airbnbs around here since that storm, in the last 7 months, you have to think
Right.
that most of that's from relief organizations and people that are coming here to work. So,
Exactly.
I don't know.
And with going back to that with the focus on education, which I totally am 100% for, because I mean that's what a college
Yeah.
is for. The one problem whenever we discuss it, like our meetings with convocation and all that stuff, is that the problem in the Tri-County area is that you have so many new people coming in from the outside of either 50 years or older who are not going to be people who are utilizing a college unless it's just like continuing education classes.
Right.
You know, we
It's
don't have
becoming a
that
retirement
youth.
community.
Right. We don't have that youth to really fulfill the need for the college. You know, that's one of the problems.
And how do you up student enrollment? I know Dr. Boyd talked about that like very openly. Like,
yeah.
he said, hey, the number one thing that faces this college is enrollment.
Which, like today, we had a ribbon cutting down at where cosmetology is for the new dental school that we've got open. That we're doing the dental assistant program that we've had it one semester, and it's going to start up in the fall again with the new semester. So That's a new thing that we're offering, and we're trying to do with the hotel where we're getting the new restaurant in there, hoping that we've got the culinary going right now. We had 5 students enrolled in the culinary. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but for the first
very first charter year of it, I mean, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, and with the restaurant going into the hotel, we'll be able to incorporate them culinary classes into that.
Well, and I think if this community is going to become like a more of a retirement community, you lived in a retirement community. Well, I mean, what is Banner Elk?
It's all retirement, and then you have the college. You have Lees McRae.
Exactly.
But having worked at Lees McRae and before that worked at another college, I mean, in higher education for about 15 years, like that student engagement and driving those admission numbers is key. I mean, you're a college, and
exactly
that's key. And trying to figure that out is the ongoing trick.
Because that's what runs your budget is your FTE.
Yeah, you have a
full-time enrollment.
You have a very specific number associated with every student that's enrolled, and every year that sets your budget. You have some leeway depending on your development department, your fundraising and stuff, but that can't be counted on long term the same way because of the ups and downs.
Exactly.
That's pretty interesting you mentioned that, though, because that's so true. Like Lees McRae is like the perfect example. Now, the one difference you're going to have here is that the majority of those retirees are very affluent.
Yes.
I mean, you have a ton of like very affluent communities, retirement communities. Elk River, Linville Ridge, Grandfather
Creek,
Mountain, Diamond Creek, all that type of stuff. That's a difference. But I mean, there you have an example of where that works, where like a college does fairly well in a predominantly retirement community. But what they have going for them is like it's got to be a pleasant place to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the main advertising draw for Lees McRae is that we're in a beautiful place in the mountains.
Yeah, right. It is. It is, and it's a private college, and kind of where it's situated, it's right in between like App, UNCA,
Western.
Yeah.
Well, it's Appalachian State adjacent is what it is.
Well, and I don't know what their numbers are like now. When I was still working there, we were cheaper for out-of-state students than App State was.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you have smaller class sizes, stuff like that. So
right. Or you go like 2 years at Lees McRae and then go for your
finish up at App State depending on the program or something.
Right.
But again, that's where the community college comes in.
Right.
Is to do that if you want to get stuff out of the way, or enjoy those hopefully potentially smaller class sizes and stuff because you're not as large of an entity, and that can be a benefit depending on the environment you want to be in.
Well, and I still say, like, dude, if you can go your first 2 years, I mean, for your first 2 years of college, let's just face it, for the vast majority of people, are basic classes. All you're doing is just going there and you're like taking English.
You're
doing the same thing you did in high school.
Computer classes, sociology, psychology.
For a lot of kids that are going to college nowadays, those first year or so are even just remedial classes.
Yeah.
And so,
especially after COVID,
why are you spending full price for a year of college?
What does that say about us in America as a whole?
Driving somebody to go spend that money because they have to?
Just the fact
they think they have to.
Just the fact that the first year of college now for a lot of students is taking remedial classes.
Yeah.
I'll give it a pass only because of the COVID thing.
Oh, this has
been going on. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'll go back to what I've said 1,000 times. I've told this story. Like, I graduated from Mitchell High School. Like, I thought that we were like a bunch of backwoods,
definitely,
like completely ignorant people. I went to UNCA, got in the leadership class, which is supposed to be like like you had to be invited to like have this class. I got in there and I'm like, great. Like, where you exchange the papers.
Yes.
Hey, you grade my paper. Like, everybody passes the list. Well, this girl that sat next to me, I was like, this is probably valedictorian, very good. Run on sentences, no punctuation, awful. Now, granted, we had a really good English. We had four very good
great English department.
Yes, we did, like all the way through.
We really did. Yeah.
So, like, probably mathematics, it might have been a little different, but I took stats, but I didn't like mathematics anyway. But I'm just saying, like, it goes to show you, like, sometimes you think that you're
Yeah.
so far behind, and there's an advantage to this, and
Yeah.
it's fun. Like, even talking to like Megan and Andy Wentz, like they are like, oh, like, look, we've worked other places. You don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is.
It's a lot worse.
Well, and that's the
There
thing.
is an advantage to being a smaller community.
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
And I wasn't necessarily singling us out, Mitchell County. I was talking about the nation as a whole.
Oh, 100%. No, that's
Like-
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't matter if you're from a bigger city or a smaller city.
Right.
It really just depends on where
Right.
you go.
Well, the chat brings up a good point, which I'm going to respond to these real quick. Chastity Miller, going back to our conversation about the song, she says "Sweet Caroline."
Oh, that's
Well,
yeah.
why? Yeah.
of
Can't hear
course.
the guy in black. I think we got that fixed. That's the guy in black.
me.
No, I had the pad turned on your microphone. Sorry
thanks.
about that. Yep. And Hollywood, he said, I wish Malin partnered with Penland to make it more accessible and less expensive. That would be an interesting partnership. Malin and Penland.
I haven't actually heard anything about that, so actually that would be a good idea.
Yeah, it would.
Well, you got literally a world renowned arts and
Dude,
crafts.
Penland
Yeah.
is invaluable for this area. Like it is.
Yeah, I don't like the you.
I need to bring that
I mean,
up.
we spend time out
Yep.
as later 30 somethings. Like,
Yeah.
where are most of those people? Why are they here? Because of Penland.
Yeah.
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 It's just the truth.
I wonder why nobody has brought that up. That has got a conundrum on me now.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'm sure. I'm sure someone's thought of it somewhere. There has to be a reason. I don't
It's
know.
politics, I'm sure.
I'm sure it probably is.
A lot of it is.
and not like Democrat, Republican, like just politics in general, like the
I
inner
think
workings
so.
of schools.
Penland does have the ability for folks who are local counties to be on a standby with reduced price for stuff if they have an opening in a lot of their programs.
Yeah, they do,
Um,
and they do stuff
but-
like that. I kind of wonder why. I'm like you. Why has there never been like a partnership
Exactly.
between Malin and Penland?
Yeah,
I've worked at Malin for 8 years, and this is the first time that I even ever thought about it when they brought that up.
yeah, yeah.
I said,
Well,
wow,
I mean,
why haven't I thought of this?
Penlands came to the high school when we were in school. I mean, they came to the school all the time doing,
Oh, yeah.
teaching like
They do now
pottery
too. They
and,
what do they
yeah,
call it? The
paper mache.
Subs with suitcases.
the subs with
That's them.
suitcases.
That's
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
They do like a project with the kids most
Yeah.
every year.
That's awesome.
I think was it third grade where they do the books.
They do the books. They do like the little shadow box thing with the bug
Yes,
illustrations
yeah,
and everything.
Yeah, those things are cool.
That's cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
you need to harbor
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
You've got like,
Yeah.
and that's what's so frustrating. Sometimes is you see, like, our community's really unique in that way. There's a lot of places that don't have anything. That don't have a community college. We have a hospital here still, even if it's not at the capacity that it used to be.
We
Like,
still have one.
We still have
we
one.
still have
Yeah.
one. We have an observatory.
Yeah.
Why do we have an observatory? Because
Which-
of
Well, because
I have a
this-
question about
this-
that.
All right.
Who do I need to talk to get hooked up to just go up there and do my astrophotography stuff?
The foundation. Now, wait a minute. What are you wanting to just go up there?
I just want to go up there at night and do my astrophotography.
As far as I know,
stuff.
you can do that.
I can?
because it has to with part of the agreement of us being a dark sky observatory is you have to have access for people who want to go up there and use their telescope.
I
at
didn't
any
know that
time.
if it was open for the public or what. Okay,
It is.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about, as far as I know, it should be because the landfill up there, they do have a gate that is sometimes locked, but I know that on the weekends we have night shows a lot of times. So
Yeah.
during any maybe opening hours, you could go up there.
they've got a website. where you
Josh
Yeah.
wants
Yeah.
to go up there at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, that's
Well,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
to look at
the Milky Way.
That's
Yeah.
what Milky Way's out this
Yeah.
time of year. That's when it's
Yeah, yeah.
overhead.
I would talk to Amanda Silver is who is over the planetarium and the observatory, but I could get you in touch with the foundation because they're the ones who run it
Yeah.
with the enterprise, and there's 2 people that is, and I could get you their phone numbers.
I
and
cannot for
names.
the life of me find anywhere to take pictures of the night sky that isn't just like full of light pollution.
That would be your perfect place.
I know.
because
I know.
I don't know what I learned this. During the tour that I did the other day, I don't exactly remember the numbers, but to be on a scale of 1 to 21, I believe what they said, where 21 is your darkest sky, up there where the planetarium is, it's like 20.75.
Oh gosh, that's amazing.
And it's got even
Yeah,
better
there's some pretty
since
stringent.
COVID.
If you've ever been,
The last time we saw that was about October 2nd.
Right. It really was. Yep,
buddy,
And you could walk
absolutely was.
outside. I walked outside. I have a picture on my phone, just iPhone. Walked outside. And I was like, oh, there's the Milky Way right overhead. Just
it's incredible.
plain as day.
Yeah.
Well, you up there, you can walk out on the roof, like at Laura's mom and dad's house.
Yep.
Oh, where Joe built that like thing over the patio or over the carport. It was incredible. That's what we did every night. We'd walk out on the roof and just lay and look at the night sky. It was crazy.
Now, see, Amanda over the planetarium, she said that she went up there to check on everything during the hurricane, and it was amazing with how dark it was.
Oh, my gosh.
With that,
I-
they actually did
sure.
some of their testing for the dark skies.
Yeah.
During that.
Wow.
To help with the accreditation.
So it might not quite be that dark.
Right.
Well, maybe you should have said that on the air, but that's.
It's good for 2 years.
Oh,
No,
God.
no. But the only thing that ever hurt us, from what I recall, was when Bojangles first opened in Burnsville, that their parking lights was so damn bright.
And that god dang,
No.
rest in peace, that tobacco store that was
know.
out there.
Oh my
where you
gosh!
could-
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, R.I.P.
The
You
same
could
guy
see
that
that
owned that
from
building owns this
space.
building that we're in right now. So I'm not going to say anything bad. It was not his doing, but that building is now gone.
Yeah.
All the
and
bright lights on the front were they were distracting.
they were
Driving by.
very distracting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do think that's something like I know Jackie Rensink. She was always like very conscious of that. I like even when I went to the town board, and I appreciated that. Like she was like, it was that light up spruce pine for the Christmas event, and she's like, you guys do know like there's like astral events going on in December, and she's like, maybe we shouldn't just light up the town. Completely crazy, like because there was some sort of meteor shower, and she had it like down, and I was like, I never would have thought about that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like you have that kind of
I love Jackie Rensink.
Have that kind of
Yeah.
consideration for stuff when you because it really is. If you've ever been to a show there, the whole pre-show you've been.
No, I haven't.
You haven't been. Okay.
No, I have not been.
So the whole pre-show is basically they talk about like what the dark sky like mission is and like why it's there and what we can do to like reduce light pollution and still have light, like still have street lights and stuff, but it needs to all be down lights.
Downlights, yeah.
Right. There where it's not
Yes.
pointing up. All this just intense
The omnidirectional stuff.
right, omnidirectional stuff just does nothing but it blots out the night sky, and it's not conducive to us as humans.
No.
We are evolutionarily, if nothing else, like trained. Like we looked at the night sky for the first up until 100 years ago, basically.
Yeah.
We stared at the night sky at night, and that's what we did. And like we're so disconnected from that now.
Dude, the other night when I was up on the Parkway taking pictures of the Milky Way, it's the first time in my life I've ever seen the Milky Way. Ever. And I
Really?
could only barely see it with the naked eye. It was only doing like 25 to 30-second exposures that I could actually see it
Right.
on my camera. But again, I was up on the Parkway and I had Baxter right there just like,
Yeah. Well, it's this time of year you can see it. Like I remember the first
You're up
time
there,
where it,
there at Alta Pass.
yeah,
Yeah.
at the orchard.
Yeah.
the first time where it really stuck out to me, like in Western North Carolina, is me and Laura went to Hot Springs. Buddy, I mean, it looked like, and if you've never seen it, it really like puts it in perspective because you can almost say it's not here, it's not here, it's right here, and like you realize you're looking down the plane of the galaxy. It's crazy,
Yeah.
so crazy,
Yep.
and it really puts
Yeah,
everything in perspective.
it does.
Everything in
It does.
perspective. Like we're spinning on a planet, and that thing is
Yeah.
right above your head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
In the solar system, it's part of that
Yeah.
massive spiral galaxy.
Yeah. That whole galaxy's hurling through space.
That's wild.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of stuff will blow your mind.
I know. And
Blow
that's
your
what
mind.
that's where I've been lately. I've been just
I can tell.
Try to get pictures of it.
trying to get pictures of it, but still, like the other night I was up there like, holy cow.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to take a second to like take it in. Like,
Well, the good thing about doing the Milky Way pictures, like I set the camera and it just does one right after another. So I'm literally just sitting there looking up. Like I'm not even paying attention to the camera. It's doing its thing. And I sit there for 4 hours the other night, off and on.
crazy.
Just,
See?
So
Up
it's
and
just
got
taking
made.
pictures of,
Yeah.
it, of it rotating.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took well, it took a whole bunch of pictures before the Milky Way came out, and then I left because like, well, the Milky. I checked my app, and the Milky Way wasn't going to come up till like 2:30 or 3
Right.
when it was going to be visible and rise above the mountains. So I went home for a little while, then I came back out, and then I took pictures until like 5 in the morning. But yeah, I just set the camera, and it takes exposure after exposure. It does like a 1 second delay in between each 15 or 20 second exposure, whatever I set it to.
Right.
And it just continuously goes over and over and over and over and over again.
That's crazy.
Well, I'm glad the Milky Way finally come out because, them asshole Snickers and Twix, it's getting away.
They gave it a hard time. They really did. They really did.
I tell you,
I was just waiting for the Three Musketeers to be like, ha ha! And I'm like, oh, God.
listen.
I would have scared the crap out of it.
And then you had to throw a whatchamacallit at them.
Let me tell you what was elite, though. Do you remember? I never liked Three Musketeers, the regular ones.
neither.
But the Three Musketeers ice cream bars.
They're so good. They're so,
Yes.
so good.
Those are awesome.
They are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. And I don't know what they did to those or changed about it. They just changed the nougat to or it's like a thinner.
It's ice cream. It's just ice
a
cream
vanilla
instead
ice
of,
cream.
instead of nougat. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good,
The
man.
bomb.
Yeah, that's-
Diggity.
I had them back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh, they're awesome. Now, I like the Snickers ice cream too.
Snickers
good.
ice cream is
Those
solid.
are good.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is pretty much the Three Musketeers, but with peanuts in it.
Exactly.
You want to know my favorite ice cream bar is, though?
What's
Which
that?
is undefeated, is the strawberry shortcake bars.
Oh, by
They're
Good
good.
Humor.
They're good.
Undefeated.
They're good.
Yes.
My favorite ice cream bar.
Snoopy. Those were good, too.
They were good.
Oh, the old Mickey Mouse ice cream bars.
Yes, the Snoopy ones and the Mickey Mouse were both great.
You remember the Flintstones push-ups?
Yes,
I used
I
to
do.
eat those when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
I loved those.
My favorite ice cream bar's got to be probably Snickers.
I agree with Josh.
Yeah.
Probably
I
got to
think
be a
there's
Snickers.
three of us,
Yeah, because
Snickers,
it's a Three
it's pretty
Musketeer
good.
with peanuts. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Same.
I like the peanuts. The little
I do
crunch of the
too.
flavor in
Yeah,
there.
I like it.
But used to be. I was a peanuts on top of the chocolate sundae kind of guy.
Yeah, oh
I
yeah,
like
for
that.
sure. I like that crunch. that
Peanut butter
texture.
parfait, if you will.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
got nice mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Josh in the mouthfeel. You got to have the mouthfeel.
It has nice mouthfeel.
All right, so have you guys heard about this? The one man one gorilla versus 100 men. Have you heard about this?
I did see something on Facebook
Yeah, it's
about
some
that.
new thing that people are
Okay.
debating about.
What?
Yes.
Could
so
100 men take down a
silverback gorilla.
I mean, eventually, yeah.
Are we talking bare knuckles or weaponized?
bare knuckles?
Yeah, I mean, eventually the gorilla's going to wear out and tire out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I don't think that gorilla's ever met a spinning back fist from like freaking
Chuck Norris.
No,
Yeah, it's Chuck
what's-
Norris one
Brock
of the men.
Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, yeah, the alpha male of our
Yeah.
species. Brock Lesnar.
F5, that's
You get a spinning back fist from Brock Lesnar, you might be out. You know
Testy
what I mean?
Miller says strawberry shortcake would be great if they didn't have the wood sticks.
What do you want it to be? Plastic or paper?
Ooh, paper. Ooh, that's like a paper straw. I hate those
disgusting.
things.
Paper
Yes.
straws were the worst thing that's ever been thought of.
In plastic, yeah. I'm cool with the wood. I'm cool with the wood sticks. But to go back to the gorilla, no, I don't think the gorilla would win. No.
You
I
don't think so?
No,
Against
I
100
think
men.
100 men. Yeah, I think.
I mean,
I'm
do you have
gonna-
any
I'm gonna go with
idea
Josh,
how
too.
ferocious a silverback
Oh, absolutely,
gorilla
I
is when
do.
it's cornered?
Yeah. If anybody knows,
Here's the thing. I
Yeah.
think if it were 100 men that had the same like desire to fight and keep fighting as the gorilla would, then yeah, I think 100 men would win.
well, that's true.
I see where you're coming
in real
from.
life,
100 men
in
is-
real life. 100 average guys who are like this. As soon as the first guy gets his arm ripped off, they'd be like,
Oh, they're out. They're out. Like 75% of them are out.
Yeah.
So really, what you're talking about is like 20 like tough guys, and of those, I'd say 10
well,
of them are
no.
faking it still.
The question was 100 men. So let's go with say they put this 100 tough guys. 100 tough guys.
That might be different.
I think against
But 100 regular guys.
I think 100 regular guys. I think eventually it would tire out, and yeah, the adrenaline would kick in, be fight or flight. I mean, if these guys are fighting for their lives, yeah, I mean, of course they're going to win. They're going to kick the gorilla's ass.
yeah. So if you had like a Roman Coliseum type thing where it's like. Like no, like because that's but you know what I'm saying. Like if you're stuck in there, it's not like hey let's go because I've seen people have done like the animations, the simulations and stuff where it's like a little 3D rendering of Chuck Norris versus all these guys. But
Right.
whatever. It's out on a plane. There's no background to it. But it's like if you're literally locked in a place where you can't get out, and if you don't kill it before it gets you, I think the 100 guys.
I think the 100 men win.
figure
Yeah,
it
I'm
out.
going to agree.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree.
Is this like the bear or the man in the woods thing? Like,
I don't know. I didn't.
It's like ninjas versus pirates or whatever.
oh yeah,
Kinda.
Cowboys versus Indians.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bear
What was
wiped
it?
its ass with a
Cowboys
white rabbit.
versus aliens.
Is that what it is now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks to the
barely.
History Channel. The History Channel, where the truth is history.
What about like what I just said? Like if a bear's in the woods, does it wipe its ass with a white rabbit?
Okay, I have some
I don't think
questions.
a bear's wipes its ass.
I was like, okay, I have some questions. So, number one, why is the bear wiping its ass? And why is it with a rabbit?
And why does the rabbit have
why
to
is
do
a white
what?
rabbit?
Why is there a white rabbit in the
there,
woods?
there are albino rabbits.
Sure,
And
sure.
but
And they have these teeth.
red eyes and all that stuff. Typical. But yeah, why that one?
I don't.
It'd be a pretty rare occurrence.
I feel
in
like
nature.
I
But
feel
wouldn't
like
it be something to say though?
oh, absolutely.
If I saw a bear wiping its ass, I'd be like, Yeti is real.
It's the Charmin bear.
I'd be like, this is a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
Like, it's Bigfoot. It's like I'm not gonna shoot Bigfoot because one, Bigfoot doesn't exist, and two, if I shoot him, I'm gonna go to jail for shooting a guy in a suit.
Yeah. So did you see Hal Put Off on Rogan?
No.
Okay,
I've not watched Rogan in a minute.
Okay.
Full disclosure, I've not.
So I was interested. I haven't either actually, but Hal Put Off's like the guy's like 88 years old. He was a physicist that first got into the weird stuff by he was the one that did all the remote viewing stuff, and he does this like fascinating story. He was just a physicist at Stanford.
Just a physicist at Stanford.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
Right.
I think the guy's legitimate. Like,
Right.
and he says he was like, I was trying to do an experiment where we had noticed in lab experiments that like if we took plants and like put them under stress, that the plants next to them would like react to the stress or whatever. So they were about to do an experiment where they were testing it with like they'd got to the point where they were going to test it with like algae that was like 3 miles away, and to see if this thing, and by happenstance they came across a person that could like look at things and see what was happening, like remote viewing. Like, and they started off in like stupid experiments. Like one of them would go out and they would ask the guy in the lab to like draw what that guy was seeing and where he was, and they would do it, and like then it just grew and grew from there. But eventually he became involved in the whole, because of associations with all this, became involved in the whole alien thing. And he's just straight up said on Rogan, he's like, look, he's like, I can't tell you everything I know, but he's like, we've got at least 10 craft in the possession of the United States itself. We have non-human intelligence. And he's like, I know other countries probably do too.
I'm not surprised. I've been saying for a long time that as vast as the universe is, it is incredibly improbable that we're in this universe alone right now in this moment in time.
Well, I guess if you assume that, then the question is why? Like, why have they not just come and said, hey,
Because-
we're here?
Well,
Are we like,
I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer for that, but that's okay. I don't have to have an answer. I still think it's more improbable that we're alone than not.
And this same guy was also involved, like during the Reagan administration. They like had a panel of people, and just they didn't bring them in with any preconceived context or anything. It was just like, hey, let's suppose we had non-human intelligence, that we knew that like this existed, that we knew this existed, we knew this existed. What do you think guys all think would happen if we just came out and said we had it? And they all kind of came back to it was, and the way he talked about it was very interesting on Rogan. Like he was like, look, he was like, when you're just point blank asked that, and this was under the George W. Bush administration when he was asked this. He said, we all broke up into small groups. We and he talks about this like very point of fact. And he said, we all kind of came back to the conclusion is like, look, you're going to have like real ramifications, like, or people are going to have to deal with this type of stuff with religion, with, you know.
There's all kinds of
There's all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, like they basically, he said this, he's like, if this was to fall into our adversaries' hands, we all kind of agreed this would be bad.
Yeah.
Who being the adversary?
Other countries.
Probably China and Russia.
Yeah, China, Russia at the time.
So why is the United States so lucky that we're the only place they landed?
Well, that's
And
the
why,
thing.
why has nobody else why has everybody else been able to cover it up and not let it get out either?
Well, that's the thing. Is that what he says is like after that he was like, I kind of came to learn that we weren't the only ones that had it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't assume that we would.
He says this kind of in like a roundabout
Yeah.
way that takes about like 30 minutes, but he's like, we're in possession of at least 10
Other countries are too.
and at least a couple different like non-human intelligence, but at least bodies or like entities or whatever that we've found, and that we're not the only ones. And we almost think that and each one of them, and it's funny because this has come up a couple times when they interview people like this. Robert Bigelow said the same thing to him, was that they weren't just inadvertent, like, oh, they crashed. At least one of Bob Lazar said the same thing. At least one of them was an archaeological dig.
Right.
And then another ones they almost viewed as what they call gifts.
Yeah. See, and that may be, I don't know. I tend to, I mean, I'm pretty skeptical about most everything, and even Bob Lazar's story. But my whole question is, you know, if he, why would he go public and do all that? Because it has ruined his life. Everyone that has went public with this stuff, it's ruined
their life.
It's ruined
Yeah.
their lives. It's they've done nothing but be harassed constantly by the government, be called quacks. I mean, like it's ruined their lives. So that leads me to believe that there has to be something there.
There's got to be.
I'm curious, like, what? I mean, obviously, if they do have spacecraft of some sort stashed away someplace, we don't know what kind of transportation order they actually use. But if we've had a period where sometime in the past, I mean, a lot of the stories go back to like the 50s or older or whatever, like, oh, they discovered the stuff in Roswell,
Right.
all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so as technology is made available to the public has increased leaps and bounds over the past 70 years.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are all the provable private parties that can detect somebody flying around in our galaxy in a spaceship? Because nobody's come forth and seen anything.
Well, that goes back to what they asked Elon what he thought about that. And he's like, well, they're awful subtle. The one thing that I've heard these guys say, and Bob Lazar said the same thing, that everything was so compartmentalized that you don't really know. Like Bob Lazar said that he was tasked for figuring out the way the propulsion system works.
Reverse engineering.
But he couldn't ask the guy
What there
that was next to him, that was
who knows what else? Yeah.
he had no. He said the guy that worked next to me in the cubicle, I had no idea what he did, and I couldn't ask him. There's like no
Internal communication.
Yeah, like I think Bob Lazar said it was him and basically one other guy that were tasked
Which
with
is
that.
an easy excuse to say why you can't verify what you're saying.
Which is an easy excuse, but let's say it really is that way, and that that nobody really has all the pieces to the puzzle. Like, what a great way to keep everything so secretive. Like,
That's true.
that's what I always think about it. I don't know. I find all this stuff like
I do. I
fascinating.
love it. I
but
love
like,
it.
I mean, here you've got a guy who's like a legitimate, like published physicist before he even goes into all this field. Is well regarded by his peers.
Well, wasn't Bob Lazar?
Yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, the guy put like
was
a
the rocket
jet
car
engine,
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
on the back of a
The
car.
jet car. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. He was a physicist.
yeah.
He worked at Los Alamos Labs.
So I don't know. Like, but then you get like the David Fravor types. He was the commander of the fleet. He went out and saw it. The video, I think some people think the video that is popular of the whole the Nimitz incident or whatever. They think that's David Fravor. No, he's just the face of it. He was the commander of the squadron. That was actually taken by a female pilot that was a part of his squadron.
Yeah.
And she hasn't come forward.
No.
And even he talked about, like, we don't talk. Like, it's so, like, everybody just knows whatever they've experienced and whatever they've been. And they've not talked to anybody else. Sans maybe one person and their supervisor.
Noah, you said you had a story to share?
Oh, yeah, this is kind of off topic.
Oh, well, it was a minute ago.
Yeah.
Okay, what was it?
It was going back to, something about animals or whatnot. There was a...
Was it the gorilla conversation?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There was a zoo, I believe it was somewhere in Asia, and they had a sun bear.
Yes.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yes.
But people wouldn't come in to, like, see it because they thought it was a dude in a suit. Because it literally stood like it was just a dude on two legs.
And just kind of walked around. And
Yeah.
kind of moseyed around like.
They didn't believe it was a bear. They thought it was a man.
And it was kill somebody?
Bear.
Sun bear is only...
Did it kill somebody?
Nah, I don't.
Maybe
I don't
not
think
that
so.
one, but I think
No.
I've seen a video of a sun bear killing somebody. Probably that sounds like something I would watch.
That was on the dark web.
Bro, you don't even know like the kind of crap I watch. But anyway,
Well,
No, I don't know. Like, all this stuff, all that type of stuff is so fascinating to me, though. Like, the whole, and even, like, the Bigfoot thing, like,
yeah.
I'm much more skeptical about the Bigfoot thing.
Oh,
than I am
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, to me, Bigfoot seems like people are wandering around the woods. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been lost in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of times. Plenty of times.
Your mind goes completely wonky.
No.
Mine did.
Not where I'm seeing Bigfoot.
Right.
I mean,
imagine-
you may be disoriented. You may lose your sense of direction.
Right.
But I mean,
You get jumpy and stuff, but
sure.
knowing that I've been lost in the woods in areas where I've seen a bear when I've been out in the woods by myself and stuff before. Like, I've seen it. I'm like, oh, that's a bear. Like, I've never seen anything where I'm like, wow, I really have no idea what this is.
Well, and who's to say that there aren't animals that we don't know what they are? That's incredibly possible. But there's no Bigfoot.
The thing that kills me about Bigfoot is that everybody who always sees Bigfoot is like Bubba. Yeah.
Even the cryptozoologists,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, like, he was
seen the
there.
Bigfoot. Yeah.
Oh, we saw him. They're all just like weird and
I mean, you can
give me the ick.
Going back to Mayland, I believe you can take a Bigfoot class at Mayland.
Is there a
Yeah, we have done a
degree
Bigfoot
there?
class. Yes.
There have been.
Yeah.
But
If it makes money, you know.
and again,
Okay, maybe colleges don't need to be for
That
profit.
class is under the Mayland Enterprise.
Yes.
Maybe I need to rethink this whole thing.
just
Sadly,
saying,
that was
just
actually
saying.
on WLOS whenever we done that class.
Oh, really?
It was actually on the news. It's like, oh, that is great press.
Oh God.
That's
But you know,
thanks,
I mean-
JB.
I mean, as far as
I forgot about that.
it was in the booklet. I got that in the mail, and I was like, well, gee. But again, going back to the technology that's available to average humans. I mean, Josh, you've got a drone.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You can get a very similar drone that has the infrared capability.
Yes.
And you can see. I mean, I talked to a guy we know here in town. Who's one of the deputies, and sheriff's department has one, and they can see basically where somebody left footprints walking barefoot across the park.
Right. Right.
That's how much they can see on the infrared.
Agreed.
Nobody's seeing Bigfoot with these infrared drones they're flying.
No.
Um,
No, they're not.
And he's
It's
supposed.
interdimensional.
He's
Josh.
supposedly.
That's what
Oh, okay. Here we go.
I mean,
He's a shapeshifter. Huh? Billy Corgan saw him.
You know, I've worked at a mental health institution, and I've seen
Sure.
people that come up with stuff like this to explain ideas they have about something that's not real. I'm not saying that everybody who believes in Bigfoot is
A mental health.
Mentally
Mental-
challenged.
mental-
I am saying that.
But people,
clear.
people will jump through their own mental hoops to justify thoughts they have about why they think they're the only
Yes.
person that has the knowledge that they do.
Yes.
Well, and that's very true. There's a documentary on Amazon Prime called Bigfoot. That's what it's called, and it is not at all really about Bigfoot. It's about in Northern California. There was a bunch of pot growers, of course, that at one point had like a bunch of the Mexican cartels move in on them because they because that was like prime growing
Yeah.
like territory. Well, you got all these like, you don't come on my farm, I don't come on your farm. You start getting all those people packed into a certain area in Northern California. Somebody's gonna
Step
get
on
into
somebody
conflict.
else's
Yeah,
foot.
step on
Yeah.
somebody's toes.
Yep.
Step on somebody's big foot.
Yes. There you go. Yes.
And basically, they had put up a bunch of booby traps and basically murdered these people.
the cartel did.
Well, they did it
bunch
to
of
the
different
cartel
people.
members.
Yeah.
And then they made up
Oh.
a story that, Bigfoot murdered them. And that's what this like Bigfoot legend got started really in that area. And it really was just a cartel thing.
Yeah.
It was a cartel.
People get
It was a
just-
drug war.
people-
That seems awful recent for it to be the genesis of Bigfoot.
Oh, no. This was just this particular.
Oh.
just
this particular story.
resurgence.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
resurgent. Bigfoot's in
Gotcha.
this area. You guys got to watch out or whatever. And it was really just a cover for them to be
Okay.
like, don't come on my fucking pot farm.
It was a chupacabra.
Yeah.
The chupacabra.
Well, urban
Jersey
legends, it's
Devil.
like you say. What was the thing that we said about the Brown Mountain Lights? When the legend becomes
When the legend
fiction?
becomes fact, print the
Yeah,
legend.
When the legend becomes fact, print the legend.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced about the Brown Mountain
Because
Lights.
how
so-
many stories have you heard about? I know of at least 4 in my head about what the Brown Mountain Lights are. You know,
Oh, sure. It was a conductor looking for a train. It was
the slave looking for his master.
right. It was the Indian princess looking for somebody or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But
All
man
of which
with
are
a slave looking
scientifically
for gold.
impossible.
Right.
But then everybody's like, oh, I've still seen it recently.
Right.
Supposedly.
Sure, because it's just lots.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen some lights up there that are very hard to explain. Like, I actually found that video that I took probably a couple months back, and I was looking and I was like, buddy, this doesn't look like any sort of lights that I'll have to find that and send it to you.
We've
Yeah,
got-
I
yeah.
will. I'll send
We'll
it to you.
analyze it.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, analyze
Yeah.
it because
We
it's,
would give our
it's very
expert opinion.
strange. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know what kind of lights like. I don't know what kind
That's
of
a
lights
car.
like go back and forth and like dance around. And they like do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's fireflies. I don't know. Maybe it's really.
They're out, by the way. I saw one the other night.
Did you?
Nice. That's good.
Yep, they're out.
Boy, they were out early last year. I remember
Yeah.
seeing like fireflies in like April last year.
Oh, they knew the hurricane was coming. They're like, "Oh, you got to get out."
Yeah, we got to get out.
Gotta get out.
we got to get out. Get in early.
Yeah,
Gotta get in early.
yeah, they're out. They're out. Saw the fireflies. No, the Brown Mountain Lights. I'm fairly certain they're lights.
Josh, that was Josh's most loved podcast.
It was. I love popping bubbles. I can't help it. I can't just be like, no, pop. Especially when it has to do with the supernatural.
Right. Ed was a cool guy. though,
Ed's
man.
awesome.
I mean, he was just
Ed's awesome, and Alex is awesome. They're
Oh,
both
yeah.
fantastic guys.
phenomenal.
Yep,
I love it.
I do too. So yeah, I think the live stream looks good, and I think it's working out pretty good. I'm digging this.
Good.
I'm digging this.
Thank God we finally got an internet connection.
God,
thanks to, I never thought I
no.
would say this, but thanks to Zito.
Thanks to Zito.
Oh my gosh.
We got some
You don't
fiber
hear
here.
that every day.
Yeah.
Zito's got fiber around here, man.
Oh wow.
Fiber to the router.
That router over
Nice.
there. Yeah, and it's awesome. Now they did come and run it from the pole to my house, but I've yet to get anybody to come and run it from the outside of my house to the inside of my house, which I'm sure will happen soon.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, I see. I have sung Spectrum's praises for years because ever since I had them, I was like, man, everybody always bitched about Zitto or Country Cable Vision before
Cablevision.
that, and all that, and AT&T. And it's like, man, I never had a problem with Spectrum since the freaking hurricane.
It's been awful
it
for it. Yeah,
sucks.
I know.
Yep.
I know, and it's the
It's,
thing. Like their entire
We're coming up
infrastructure
here to the
was
studio to work about once a week to
Yeah.
check in and stuff.
I hate to
because
say it, but that's the reason
Yeah.
I kept the
Starlink.
Starlink
Yeah.
is a redundancy.
yeah.
And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of a bear shitting in the woods, that must be what happens with the spectrum, is that a bear farts against one of the poles and it makes it go out.
Yeah.
Well, the other night when I was up on the parkway at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, I heard 2 trees fall, like just like one right after another, and I was
Okay.
like, "What?"
That was Bigfoot knocking him over.
Probably must have been. I think it was more like the Loch Ness monster. I think Nessie was up there.
Old Nessie.
Yeah.
How
Looking for
close to Price
350.
Lake were you?
Well, he wanted about 350.
About 350.
About 350.
About tree fitty.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, this is another subject that you'll be very interested to talk about.
All right.
Are we getting Ingles back? I mean, be honest, Jamie. I know you're in the know, and
I've
I know
been
you know
wanting to
this.
talk about this all evening. 'cause
As a
that's hot
longtime
topic.
butcher at Ingles, what do you think? I know you know.
I do not know anything, but what little I do know is that they pretty much have to find somewhere else to go.
You think so?
That's what I think, and I could totally see that, because God rest his soul, you know, Bud Phillips is the one that sold on that land. Anyway, for when it had it. Speaking of Bud Phillips, does everybody know Bud Phillips? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell you a funny story about Bud. I don't know if you've ever heard this or not. Whenever he was at Ingles, so by selling Ingles the land, he figured that, hey, I used to own it, so I can do whatever I wanted to on it.
He could just go in and then make himself a home.
Exactly. Richest man this side of Mississippi, but you know, didn't care. Just go in, have him an apple, whatever. Well, I had to put a lock on the back door because Bud went outside and he fell in the dumpster. The compressor dumpster that we had back there, had to get him out because the man was looking through the dumpster getting shit.
He was looking through the dumpster diving.
Yeah, getting like fruit and stuff out of it. So
That sounds like Bud.
You don't get to be
Hilarious.
rich by wasting food.
exactly, yeah, by buying your own food, go out there and dig for it.
That's hilarious.
But I hope that Ingles does come back. I never really thought how much I went to Ingles about certain things. You
Yeah,
know.
I know.
But speaking of like the Snickers ice cream bar, man, they had where you could buy the single ones there. I've not really looked at Walmart.
They have them.
but they do. Oh,
Yeah, they're on the end
never
cap
mind.
in the ice cream aisle.
Oh well, that threw that out the window. But I know that's what I went to Ingles to get sometimes.
Yeah, we used to go get it. We go in. Me and the kids. The kids would all each pick one out. and we go walk around town in the summer. We'd have like
Yeah.
huge
And that's
heat wave.
awesome.
We'd wait till like 10 at night. They were getting ready to close, and then we'd go walk around town. It was cool.
Yeah.
I wish they would
Yeah.
keep it where it's at.
I think they're going
Agree,
to. I
yeah.
think they're going to.
Which, I mean, even when I worked there, which was 8 years ago, when a truck would come in, it would pour the rain. It would flood the dock.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
You know, so it's nothing new.
Yeah.
Well, but they put that, a couple years back, probably what it was like 4 or 5 years back, they put that new drain.
They redid the drainage down
Because
side
the
of park.
English
Yeah.
Creek literally runs underneath the building.
Yeah. Yeah.
It goes from the back through the back parking lot and then runs on the left
Yep.
down under a culvert and out into the river right there.
Right.
Which I'll be the first one to admit, not great civil engineering that went into that. It was probably they put a culvert in and called it good.
Exactly.
And that wasn't going to work. They relined the culvert. They put a whole thing. It looks like Jurassic Park now. It looks like they're hiding a dinosaur.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, if you go back, literally, it looks like one of those scenes from like Jurassic Park where there's those giant bars.
Oh yeah, with the
Yeah, like-
the
yeah.
Velociraptors.
Yeah, literally, the first thing Ryder saw when he
Clever
said when
girl.
he saw it, he's like, "Is that Jurassic Park?" in there?"
Clever girl.
It does. So they they did a better job of, but that was
Yeah.
just completely crazy. I mean,
They've even redone, I think, the part over by the corner of the parking lot out front by Greenwood, like maybe once or at least once. maybe
yeah,
twice
at least
since I've
once or
lived here.
twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it. I mean, I get why they would want to look for a new place. But the thing that I heard, I got a message from somebody, and they asked me just not to tell who it was, but that knew somebody that had direct family that was married to somebody that was high up in Ingles, and said that really the reality is that Ingles took a major hit from the storm.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely heard that.
Yeah.
And I can see that. I mean, how much inventory do you think is in a store? Do you have any idea
Oh,
how
my
much?
gosh. No, millions of dollars. I mean,
I
just
mean-
in the back, just of over ordering. You know,
Right.
that's just what's sitting in the back.
Well, and we got to remember, it wasn't just our store.
It was 4 different stores.
Yeah, and now I was going to add to that
remember
was
what
I
it
was
was?
talking to
Yeah.
somebody. It was Newland, us, Morganton, and Swannanoa.
Swannanoa.
Yeah.
Well, they got the one in Swannanoa back open, didn't they? Well,
No, I don't think they
no,
did. No,
because
I don't
they're
think so.
almost got the Morganton one done. Newland is open. It's
Yes,
ready to rock and
Newland's
roll.
open.
But the one in Morganton is still not open because I go by it once a week
Yeah.
whenever I go to
They're
Morganton.
on 181 heading
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And they're almost ready to open from what I heard. And what somebody told me today actually was whenever they get Morganton, they're supposed to come to us next.
Okay.
Is what they had heard. But once again,
Well,
that's the grapevine.
Hearsay.
I saw, and again, hearsay, but I saw somebody said they had a very trusted source who was in the know that the contract for the repairs to begin had just been awarded for the Spruce Pine store.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to come back. I think it's going to be in the same spot. I heard they were saying September is when it was going to be open, tentatively without deli and without bakery.
Right. Then that makes
And
sense.
what I was told too is that
gonna be Save More.
the other
It is for a minute.
the other extenuating factor was the fact that they already had like 3 stores under remodel.
Okay, I didn't
That
know
was the other thing that they were trying to finish those up, plus trying to, and at the end of the day, they're a business like everybody else. They're going to look at their bottom line,
Yeah.
just like everybody. And I know that's what nobody wants to hear that, but it's the truth.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, like if you're a store that does, let's say you do what? Let's just put a figure. Let's say you do 30 million a year. You lose 4 million in inventory, plus damage to a store, which is probably going to be another $4 million.
Plus
honestly.
downtime.
Plus downtime, not making that revenue. I mean, you're talking a
Right.
huge loss. Like, think about.
They have insurance too to cover
Well, they
a
do.
lot of
Yes, I'm sure they have insurance.
As far as a business goes, you're going to fix and prop up the places that are going to start making you more money first. So if we're
Yes.
a
Bingo.
smaller store, I mean, yes, one of 2 places to buy groceries in the county.
Right.
But if Morganton and Swannanoa, and even maybe Newland, if those sold more than we did,
Well, Newland didn't have a grocery store because they had Lowe's and it went out of business.
yeah.
So literally, they're the
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
guy in town.
yeah. So, but anyway, any of those places that are making more money per year for them than we were, it would make sense as a business to fix those stores first.
And
Yeah.
Walmart
Because
probably
that-
cuts into their
yeah.
revenue
Yeah.
here for sure, even though
Yeah.
they're realistically serving like a 2-county
Yeah.
by and
And-
large. Because a lot of people that live in this part of Yancey County, it's quicker for them to come to Spruce Pine
Yeah.
or
half,
Yancey
half,
County.
half of Avery.
Yeah,
And if you-
half of Avery
And
County.
if you go to Burnsville, to Ingalls, you will run into everybody from Spruce Pine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And can I say, out of the Burnsville Ingalls, I hate that freaking parking lot.
Oh,
It's
it's
the
so bad.
worst
It's
parking
so
lot
bad.
ever.
Listen, don't even get me started about how Burnsville made a bad mistake.
Before we
Go
get
ahead.
started on that, I'm going to catch up on the chat here. Hollywoody, going back to the aliens, said Michael Knowles had a great guest on 11 days ago talking about alien craft that have elements in them that we do not have on Earth. That's interesting. And Chastity Miller said, I heard that there was a sinkhole. I heard that there were sinkholes in the town and that they wouldn't fix. Is there any truth in that?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I've heard that, but I don't know that that's true.
I think what they're talking about is the road. I guess is that English Road?
Greenwood.
Greenwood.
No, the one on the
oh,
side.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
the
yeah.
one on the
Oh,
side,
oh.
one
The one that you have to
turns
take to get to the back parking
Right,
lot.
right. Yeah, that,
Is that Hillcrest Circle?
I think so. But it's settled. But if it were actually a sinkhole at this point, they'd have the road closed off.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, there's like right next to the manholes there. I think where like a bunch of sediments probably washed out.
Yeah.
like they probably
That's English. That is English road.
English Road. Yeah, so like that up through there. Like, I mean, you're talking about a 75-yard stretch of road, something like that. Like, I don't think that would be any expense really for the town to. I haven't heard anything about that. I asked the town manager about it, the new one. I was like, "What have you heard about Ingalls?" He's like, "I've heard about as much as you have." Like, I think they've kind of just kept it close to the vest, but I hope. I'm telling you right now, if you had Bob Robinson,
Yeah.
that shit would have been open
Yes.
2 days after.
We're
And-
even saying
and
all about
Teddy.
them. Yeah.
And Teddy.
Made department
And
telephone police. Made department.
I thought Teddy, that they need to put a memorial up for Teddy.
They do.
because
Oh,
with his
1,000%.
stove, You know.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
Because I'm
Teddy
pretty sure he
Willis.
was there the day it opened, and probably the day that it flooded.
flooded.
Did
probably.
Teddy didn't pass away, did he?
His wife did. I'm pretty sure his
Okay,
wife
all
did,
right.
but he's still
Yeah, Teddy's still
No
alive.
memorial just yet, but
right. No.
when and if he
That's
does,
where
A
it is.
statue, a statue of
Yes.
Teddy.
Now Bob did pass away after he.
Oh, yeah.
Had his tenure at the ABC store.
He did.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Was it the ABC store?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
His wife Dot.
Sorry,
was
Mom. I
my-
never went to the ABC store in Spruce Park.
His wife Dot was my Sunday school teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Now, didn't he have a son that was in a wheelchair? Was that Bob Robinson, or a grandson that was in a wheelchair?
I don't know.
That's what I was always told when I worked at Ingles, because you'd see that guy and he would fly down the aisles in that wheelchair. It was an electric one, and his son, he'd make that thing go.
Maybe he did actually. I don't know.
I can't remember. That's what somebody
That's
told me
stretching
once.
my mind to remember that far back.
I
still say
Yeah. That man smoked more
Yes.
than anybody has ever smoked in the history of tobacco use in the world.
yeah, he did.
Whenever you would walk into Ingles and go over to the magazine, that's all you would smell be cigarettes.
Cigarette. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Back whenever it was Family Dollar.
Oh yeah, next
Family
to
Dollar,
it.
Yep.
I'll never forget me and Daniel Buchanan. We got these like prisoner shirts. There was like these orange shirts. We thought they were really cool. We got them from Spencer's. Of course. In the mall. Yeah, of course you got them from Spencer's. And we walked in there, and the people in the family, that old lady and the family dog, really thought we were escaped convicts and called the cops. And the cops.
They have like the stamp numbers on the back. Yeah.
Had the old number. I think it was supposed to be like a Tupac thing or something like that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, they've escaped.
Oh yeah, we would go in the Ingles and buy the Faygo sodas for 65 cents.
You're big into Insane Clown Posse, huh?
No, is that a St. Clown Posse thing?
Yeah.
What, the Faygo sodas?
Yeah, Fagos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
ICP folks love
Oh, yeah.
Faygo.
Yep.
Really?
If you're a juggalo, you're always drinking Faygo.
Always.
That's what they do at the gathering of the Juggalos. They take and they spray them over each other.
Really? Faygo sodas?
Yeah.
Because they're so cheap?
Probably because
I don't know if it's more concerning that Chase didn't know this or that we know this.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not privy to
Are we
this information.
Juggalos?
Oh, God. I don't know. Are we?
Are you juggalos? Jesus Christ.
Magnets.
I'm glad I took my face paint off before I came in here.
Yeah,
tonight.
exactly.
How do magnets work?
So there's back the previous company that I worked for. I was a ICP chemist. It's not funny enough. I worked on an instrument called an ICP instrument, which ICP stands for inductively coupled plasma, and it's this type of spectrometry that uses plasma to basically burn the elements, and whatever light refracts from that's or whatever colors the element burns. That's how they determine identify it and determine its concentration. Well, anyway, the guy from Perkin-Elmer, the rep who serviced and worked on the ICP machines, the instruments, his name was Jeremy. So I always called him Violent J. He would come and he got it, and he loved it. He was all about it. And I was like, that's what Violent J.
Violent J coming to help tune up the ICP stuff.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
That's hilarious. I did not know Faygo sodas were associated with Insane Clown Posse.
Yes.
That's a new one on me.
Yes. Yes, they
But
sure are.
going back to that, excuse me. What I always liked was at Food Line, the Choice drinks. They made a cherry gold that was like 69 cents that you could get. It was awesome.
Do you remember the machines at Walmart? They had the Sam's Choice for a quarter.
Yes.
For forever. God, that was great.
Those were great.
Yeah.
Those were
Now I think they're like $8 a piece.
Of course. Inflation.
Probably have to use your membership card too.
It's Biden's economy.
Yeah. It's Biden's economy.
Jeez, man.
Joe's Choice.
Joe's
Choice.
Joe's Choice soda. Jeez.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Come on, man.
So yeah, Ingles will be back. Bigfoot's opening it.
All right.
The
That's
aliens
what
are
we
going to
figured.
stock it with their food.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's going to be a world's market instead of
Yeah,
a
world's market.
world's market,
Yeah.
plural.
Some of the unknown elements from the alien spaceship will use those to rebuild the roads so it won't collapse.
That would be great. Yeah. That would be great.
And the ghost of Bud Phillips will haunt it in the garbage can.
He'll just be in the garbage compactor. Be like, "That's my apple. My apple." Bud Phillips. That's
Bud Phillips.
That's hilarious. I've heard that.
Yep.
About him.
Oh, the ones that are always worth a lot of money are super,
Yeah.
super.
Yeah.
tight.
Oh, yeah. I knew this one gentleman who was worth a lot of money. I mean, millions of dollars. And I went to do some work at his house one time, and he told me to grab a drink out of the fridge. And when I did, I opened the fridge. It was full of ketchup packets that he had stolen from Hardee's. And not just ketchup, every condiment under the sun. He had stole packets from all these restaurants and just stocked his fridge with them. And I'm like, dear God, man.
You got to protect that wealth, baby.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah. A friend of mine.
That's old
Them
money.
ketchup packets are a sneaky cost. bro.
Dude, he had so many. I was like, good.
A friend I worked with at Lees McRae, she knew a couple that was a donor for the college, and this couple had a lot of money, and they would go between their house in Banner Elk to their house in Florida. And one year, this one was going to drive their car down for them, so they would have their second car down, and
Sure.
they were going to basically give her a paid vacation. Hey, we'll pay you to drive the car down. And then it came out. They said, don't forget to grab all of the condiments that we left in the fridge and bring them down in a cooler to us, because that way we don't have to buy a second set of like a small thing of mustard, a small thing of mayo that were like half empty. Put those in a cooler, keep them cold on the drive to South Florida so that we can have those for our house at the beach.
I will say this too, just to add to that story about that gentleman. That's one of like 3 things he had in his fridge. It wasn't like a fully stocked fridge
Right,
with bottles.
sure,
like
certainly.
it was
Certainly.
just like a pitcher of tea, condiments, and like a styrofoam container of leftovers from Ingles. And I was like,
Phillips.
you were pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
Was that Bud?
Pretty much.
And speaking of Bud, I remember somebody who hadn't never seen Bud before was in Ingles one time, and he was over there at the deli, and they walked over and they said, I want to buy that man his meal. And he said, please don't.
They think he was homeless or something? Largest landowner east of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
They think he's homeless.
Yep.
That's
Dude, I'm telling you,
hilarious.
some of the most wealthy people I've ever known are like that.
Yeah. Yeah. They are. They sure are.
I guess you get that way for a reason, right?
true.
I think a lot of it too is like old money.
I don't know, man. I think people that are very thrifty like that, if you come into money and you're already very thrifty,
True.
and
yeah.
you invest your money like correctly, you don't go out of your way to change the way that you are. Like,
No.
you know what I mean? Like, even if it is something that's inherited or something that you don't expect and you do right with it, why live any different, really?
Sure.
I guess. I don't know. I would.
Well, on that note, we should probably call it a night.
Yeah, we should.
We've been streaming for a minute. This has been fun though.
Yeah, this has been awesome.
We've been going for.
What do you think about the new studio?
I
The
love
new
the new
digs are pretty
studio.
good, right?
Yeah, what's
It's
everybody
awesome.
think about the new dig?
Yeah, we're gonna
Yes.
get it up, and
Decorated a little bit better, and
I think the sound does sound better with those.
Panels
we put some
up.
of these
Panels,
panels, acoustical,
some acoustic
Yes,
treatment.
Acoustical. Grandpa's guitar.
also known as some partitions that we.
Yeah, they're
upstairs.
partitions. Yeah. They're not really acoustic panels, but they play
work
the
that
part.
way.
They are designed to be acoustic panels in an office.
That's
They cut
true.
different
Yeah,
sounds,
they
so
are.
That's
they
true.
really are designed for that too. So.
Well,
Yeah.
before we go off the air, let me do say one thing. Also, thank you guys for always letting me come back on the podcast.
Jamie,
but
you could come every time.
Oh man, yeah.
on a
we
separate
enjoy
note, because I know people don't like to toot their own horns, I am on the podcast with 3 of the 4 members of Saving Shirley. Please give these guys a like
Yeah.
on YouTube and
Yeah,
on
go check us
Facebook
out.
Yeah.
and everything, and definitely support local music because these guys are great. Plus, I said minus, but I should say plus Jimmy Henshaw. You know,
Yes.
in Saving
Plus Jimmy
Shirley.
Henshaw, yeah.
We haven't been on the air since our last concert. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had our first like kind of real weekend.
Yeah, we
playing
did.
music.
Yeah.
actually getting
Yeah.
paid.
Yeah.
a little bit to play music.
Yeah, we
which is
paid our
nice.
rent for the studio.
Hey, there
it
we
was
go.
great.
I like it.
It was great.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing a lot more of that.
Yeah.
A lot more of that.
Capone's epic as ever,
Yeah, that was fun.
down and dirty.
Oh yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Jimmy Henshaw flying high.
Yes.
Jimmy and
Jimmy
Shaw
climbing
flying
the
high.
rafters.
Flying high.
I was just like, yeah, just reach out. Catch up on the chat here. Mini Duck says, looks nice. Thank you. Matthew Myers, what's up, man? Can I be a guest? Yeah, just reach out to us. We'll work it out. And Laura, what's up? Laura's in the chat too.
Laura.
Hey, Laura.
And Mini Duck is Drake. So
Oh, is that Drake?
that's right.
Hello, Drake. We missed you at music trivia tonight, by the way.
Well, everybody,
All right.
love you all. We'll catch you all next time. It'll be next Thursday and or Friday. There'll be a new episode up. Until next time, peace out.
No, you still look like Kurt
Yes.
Cobain.
Yeah, you do.
Appreciate it. Bye.
I forgot that your nickname was